Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that bullshit. I be seeing Jimmy talking about, we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. Talking about, we Gucci boo boo. The Black King niggas was going fuck you up. Jimmy, they was like, Marita Monero.
Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so
well,
to be compared,
let me
that young kid.
He was young and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
50 Cent just locked his sights on Jim Jones, and things are spiraling fast. Jim kicked off the madness when he dissed Nas on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast, boldly saying he's a better rapper than Nas and that he's done more for the culture.
So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We're talking about 94, 93, I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025.
That's a wild claim, especially from someone who once looked up to Nas like a legend. What made him switch up like that? Now here's where it gets juicy. 50 Cent is calling Jim out, saying he's nothing but a Jay-Z puppet. Could Hav really be pulling strings behind the scenes? It's starting to look that way, and the timing is way too suspicious to ignore.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing.
Remember, Jim used to drag Jay through the dirt for years, clowning him in interviews, throwing jabs left and right. And now suddenly, he's out here acting like Jay's his mentor, his big bro. That's a serious switch up that's got people talking. Something about this whole story just doesn't add up. Let's rewind to where this whole storm really began. Jim sat down with Fat Joe and Jadakiss to chop it up about the recent wave of hits. But things took a wild turn fast. Joe brought up the crazy talk he's been hearing from the younger crowd, saying some folks actually believe Jim's done more for hip-hop than Nas. That was Jim's cue to stay cool, maybe give Nas some respect. But instead, he laughed it off and said, these new kids don't even know.
Put it to you like this, Jim. Hey, bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you dress.
Nas.
Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the things that we listen to.
I can be in the church house. You can't F with Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. You're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas. It don't matter.
Then he took it up a notch, doubled down and claimed his influence is way bigger. Like, bro, what? Don't get it twisted. Dipset definitely had their time to shine. They shaped a whole movement in the game. But here's the thing. Jim didn't even shout out the Diplomats when talking about his impact. He made it sound like he alone carried Harlem on his back. No crew, no cosign, just him holding it down. You could literally see Jadakiss's face drop the second he said it. Man looked stunned like he just heard the wildest, most delusional claim of the year. Jadakiss didn't even have to say a word. His silence said everything. His face was basically screaming, stop the cap. Everyone knows Nas is a certified legend, no debate.
He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally, he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew, I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam.
Meanwhile, Jim didn't even start getting real respect in rap until Ballin' took off. And now that same guy who was hyped just to meet Nas last year is suddenly claiming he's the better artist? Come on, that's not confidence, that's straight ego. Jada tried to keep it calm, but his expression told the whole story. And trust, every big name in the game saw that clip. It spread like wildfire, but Jim didn't ease up. He went pedal to the floor. He started saying he could out-rap Nas, talking about having better bars, a sharper flow, more impact, more relevance, basically claiming he's the full package. Then he dropped the wildest line of all. He said, I'm more relevant now than Nas has ever been. That's not confidence, that's chaos unleashed. To back up his claims, Jim started pulling out numbers, Billboard stats, Spotify streams, viral hits, top album ranking, trying to turn data into proof of his dominance. But the internet wasn't having any of it. Nas fans came locked and loaded. They pulled receipts fast, real fast. They swarmed the comments, reposted old stats, and flooded every thread, dragging Jim for disrespecting a man who's been dropping timeless classics since before Jim even had a record deal. The backlash was instant and brutal. Let's be real, this beef didn't just come out of nowhere. This energy's been bubbling since the early 2000s, when Nas called out Dipset and even mocked Cam'ron's "Come Home With Me," calling it trash. Cam wasn't letting that slide. He clapped back over Nas's "Hate Me Now" beat, and just like that, a full-blown war exploded. For years, Harlem and Queens went head-to-head, diss tracks, interviews, and non-stop shots. It was pride versus legacy, and neither side was backing down. But here's where things take a crazy twist. While the Dipset versus Nas feud was catching fire, Jim and Jay-Z were beefing too. Jay used to clown Jim publicly, and things got real ugly, real quick. The real tension hit the fan when Jay refused to make Cam'ron the vice president of Rockefeller. That move set off a massive fallout between Jay and the Harlem crew. Jim rode for Cam heavy, standing by his side through all the drama, and that loyalty sparked a nasty long-term rivalry with Jay himself. Now fast forward to today. Out of nowhere, Jim's out here praising Jay-Z like they're tight and taking shots at Nas, the same man he once said inspired him. After years of dissing both of them, this sudden switch-up looks beyond suspicious. Something behind the scenes must have changed, and it's got everyone wondering what kind of deal went down. This isn't just random drama. There's strategy behind this move, no doubt. Something big is brewing, and the entire rap world's keeping a close eye on every word Jim says. Jim Jones and Cam'ron have always felt like they got played, like the industry used Harlem's style to look cool, then tossed them aside when the shine wore off. See, it was Dame Dash who first brought them into the Rockefeller circle, not Jay-Z. But once Jay took full control, Jim and Cam started feeling iced out, like Jay wanted to erase Harlem's glow completely. That's when things started getting real personal. Jim didn't stay quiet either. He went straight at Jay, calling him soft, saying he wasn't connected to the streets anymore, and accusing him of shutting Harlem out of the whole Rockefeller movement. And this wasn't just rap talk or a few slick bars. Jim made it real. On December 22nd, 2008, things got heated for real when Jim Jones got into a full-blown brawl inside a Louis Vuitton store in Manhattan. The man he fought, a close friend and business partner of Jay-Z. That wasn't no random scuffle. It was personal, and everybody knew it. Jim later pled guilty to misdemeanor assault almost a year after the incident. But that fight became proof that his beef with Jay ran deep, way deeper than music. This was Harlem pride clashing with Brooklyn power, and that tension still lingers today. Here's where it gets straight up wild. After all that drama, after years of calling Jay out, mocking him in interviews, and acting like he'd never bow down, Jim folded. He went right back to the same man he'd been dissing for decades, hoping Jay would throw him a lifeline. That's crazy. The same dude who once swore he'd take Jay down was now trying to get saved by him. And that right there is why people say Jim can't be trusted. He's built a whole reputation for flipping sides whenever things get rough. It's like loyalty just isn't in his DNA. That's exactly why 50 Cent never respected him. Back in 2007, when the G-Unit versus Dipset beef was blazing hot, Jim shocked everybody when he pulled up at a G-Unit event. 50 had invited him, but not to make peace or offer a deal. Nah, 50 was playing chess while Jim was still out here playing checkers. He brought Jim out just to show the industry what kind of moves he really makes. It was a setup from the jump. 50 used that moment to prove to everyone, especially Cam'ron, that Jim would do anything for a little spotlight. No contract, no record deal, just pure humiliation in front of the whole rap game. 50 made his point crystal clear that night. In this business, loyalty still matters. From that day forward, 50 saw Jim as soft, a man with no code, willing to flip on anybody just to stay relevant. Now fast forward to today. 50 Cent and Jay-Z have been locked in a quiet, cold war for years. So when Jim ran back to Jay begging for a lifeline, that was it, the final straw. The second that Roc Nation deal got stamped, everything changed. The vibe in the industry flipped instantly. Not long after signing, Jim suddenly started tossing slick shots at Nas. Coincidence? 50 doesn't think so. Not even close. He's convinced Jay-Z's the mastermind behind the curtain, pulling strings and using Jim as a pawn in a much bigger power move. Word is, Jay's been itching to stir the pot with Nas again, but instead of getting his own hands dirty, He's letting Jim do the swinging. That's vintage Jay. Moves in silence, lets others handle the smoke while he stays clean. And 50? He's not buying the act for a second. The moment 50 caught wind of Jim cozying up to Jay-Z, he went off, straight to Instagram, where he does his best work. He lit it up with memes, clips, and ruthless captions, clowning Jim for selling out and switching sides just to stay relevant. 50 didn't hold back. He called Jim the industry's favorite puppet and hinted that Jay was the real one pulling the strings behind the scenes. For 50, this wasn't just trolling, it was a message. He's letting everyone know he sees through the games, and he's ready to call out anyone who plays both sides. 50 wasn't just clowning around this time. He was dead serious. He made it clear that Jay-Z's got a long history of using people to fight his battles while he stays clean, cool, and calculated in the background. According to 50, this whole Nas situation is just another example of that same old playbook. He basically called Jim out, saying he's just doing Jay's dirty work while pretending he's making power moves on his own. Brutal. Then the internet did what it always does. It exploded. Fans started digging up old clips of Jim showing love to Nas, calling him one of the greatest ever, even saying Nas inspired his hustle. Those clips went viral fast, and suddenly the whole timeline was roasting Jim, asking, so which version of Jim Jones are we getting today? The Nas fan or the Nas hater? That's when the memes started flooding in. The internet had a field day, and the wildest part, Nas didn't even blink. He stayed calm, unfazed, doing what he always does, dropping timeless bars, collecting awards, and moving like a legend, while Jim's out here chasing clout and catching smoke online. Meanwhile, 50 is living for this moment. He's firing off shots every chance he gets. Sometimes slick and subtle, sometimes direct and ruthless, but always sharp. He even said, Jim's the kind of dude who will diss a legend just to get his boss's attention. Ouch, that one cut deep. But hold up, this story takes a darker twist. Word on the street is that people inside Roc Nation's camp actually pushed Jim to stir up this Nas drama as part of a PR stunt. If that's true, it means this whole feud might have been manufactured from the jump. Not about respect, not about music, just about headlines and manipulation. Think about it. Controversy is the fuel that runs the whole game. It drives clicks, streams, headlines, attention, everything. And Jay-Z, he's a master at controlling the narrative, maybe the best in the business. If 50's theory is on point, then Jim's nothing more than another pawn on Jay's chessboard, and not even a valuable one, just a piece that can be sacrificed when the time's right. But of course, 50 being 50, he didn't stop at just talking. He brought the receipts. He started leaking old behind-the-scenes stories, moments where Jim allegedly begged for features, pleaded for meetings, and got curved by some of the biggest names in hip-hop. 50's basically tearing down that tough guy image Jim tries so hard to push, showing him instead as a dude desperate for validation from people who never really wanted him in their circle to begin with. It's wild because this whole feud feels way bigger than rap now. It's about pride, power, and legacy. Jim's trying to prove he belongs next to the legends, but every move he makes just gives 50 another round of ammo to fire back with. And when 50 dropped that infamous line, a real boss keeps their hands clean even when they do dirt, it hit harder than ever. That line sums up the whole game perfectly. Jay's built his entire empire on calm moves, silent power, and that smooth, untouchable image. But behind that designer suit and quiet grin is a man who calculates every single step like a chess grandmaster. Look at the pattern. Jay froze out Dame Dash when things got tense, made sure Cameron's spotlight never got too bright. And now, he's got Jim Jones out here reigniting old beef with Nas while he stands in the background, cool and collected, acting like he's got nothing to do with it. That's the genius of Jay-Z. He doesn't just play the game, he owns it. Every time the chaos unfolds, he's still standing tall, untouched, and somehow looking like the smartest man in the room. And now, the tension's reaching a boiling point. The streets are talking, the blogs are lit, and every fan's picking sides like it's war season again. 50's not letting up. He's still posting, still trolling, still exposing, and each new jab cuts deeper than the last. Jim can't catch a break. Every time he tries to clap back, 50 flips it into another viral moment. It's like watching a chess match where one player's already 10 moves ahead. Rumors say Jim's been trying to hit the studio to drop a diss track aimed at both 50 and Nas, trying to reclaim some pride. But insiders claim he's hesitating, scared it might backfire and make him look even more desperate. Because let's be honest, right now, Jim's stuck in a no-win spot. If he stays quiet, 50 wins. If he fires back, Nas fans and 50's army will tear him apart online. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's staying silent. No comments, no posts, no reactions. Classic Jay. While the rap world's losing its mind, he's probably somewhere sipping fine wine, watching the chaos unfold like it's free promotion. That's his move. Control the storm without getting wet. But here's what's got everyone shook. Insiders are whispering that this might just be the warm-up. Word is, 50's planning to drop a full documentary exposing what he calls industry snakes. And guess who's rumored to be front and center? Jim Jones himself. If that happens, it's gonna blow the roof off hip-hop media. At the same time, people close to Jim claim he's plotting his own revenge, supposedly cooking up a tell-all podcast to set the record straight about everything from the Rock Nation deal to his falling out with Cameron. He wants his version of the truth out there, but whether it helps him or buries him deeper, nobody knows yet. One thing's for sure, this drama's far from over. With 50 Cent playing Puppet Master online and Jay pulling invisible strings behind the curtain, Jim's right in the middle of a storm he might not survive. That's classic Jay. He lets everyone else get dirty while he walks away clean, bag secured, image spotless. It's cold, but you can't deny the genius in it. And that's exactly why 50 Cent doesn't mess with either of them. Loyalty means everything to him. And in his eyes, neither Jay nor Jim lives by that code. That's why 50 rides so hard for Eminem. Real recognizes real. M's been solid from day one. Never switched sides, never folded under pressure. When that rumor broke that Jay tried to block 50 from performing at the Super Bowl halftime show, it was M who stepped up and said, "If 50 ain't performing, I'm not performing either." Now that's loyalty, the kind money can't buy. See, fame fades, trends die out, and streams slow down. But respect, that's the one thing that never loses value. Jim might be loud right now, stirring headlines and chasing clicks. But Nas built the very foundation the game stands on today. You can't troll your way into greatness. You earn that with time, with legacy, with consistency. So now it's your turn to sound off. Whose side are you rolling with in this wild saga? You riding with Team 50, Team Nas? Or do you really think Jim's standing on business this time? Go ahead, smash that like button, drop your take in the comments, share this with your crew, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because trust me, this story's nowhere near finished. Big moves are still being made behind the scenes, and we'll be right here breaking it all down.